Anthony Joshua is looking to work with new trainers again, Eddie. I know you spoke to him in the past. Do you think you might rekindle that interest and have another conversation with him?
Anthony Joshua sigue buscando nuevos entrenadores. Anteriormente habéis platicado con él. ¿Crees que ya quizás pueden hablar de nuevo acerca de quizás empezar a trabajar juntos?
No, la verdad a mí no me interesa trabajar con peleadores que están cambiando mucho de entrenadores, no encuentran su lugar, están buscando un entrenador, están buscando otro, y a veces el problema no es el entrenador, a veces el problema es ellos mismos. Creo que Anthony tiene todo para volver a brillar en la división de los pesos completos, pero creo que le ha faltado estar enfocado en las peleas. Ha perdido peleas que no debe haber perdido y pues deseo todo el éxito. Él es un tremendo atleta y la verdad creo que si logra enfocarse más en las peleas, creo que sin duda alguna va a volver a ser el mismo Joshua de antes y va a volver a ser el gran campeón que es.
And those are the words, once again, of Eddie Reynoso as he refuses to work with Anthony Joshua if Anthony Joshua would want his services, because Anthony Joshua changes trainers and he said he doesn't like people that changes multiple trainers that way. He also said that Anthony Joshua is a person that the problem is not with the trainer. A lot of times it's with himself. It's some fights that he should have won that he lost. And he thinks that he has to make adjustments within. And let me counterpunch. I figured this would happen at some point, especially when he left Rob McCracken and he went to Robert Garcia. Because when he lost, I think they took a look at his behavior after he lost, and the fact that a lot of times you have to own up to a lot of things that you do, and he didn't do that really. But the irony was the last interview that we heard of Anthony, when they mentioned Robert Garcia's name, if you guys can remember, he got real agitated. You could tell he rolled his eyes. You know, he said, well, a lot of times it's not with the trainer, it's with yourself. So maybe he figured that out himself. Now, don't get me wrong. Anthony Joshua did not ask for services for Eddie Reynoso, okay? This is just Reynoso basically cutting him off before he asked. I guess letting the world know, I wouldn't work with Anthony Joshua, you know, if he was going to ask me, okay? So there you go. And I think Anthony is a guy that he needs someone, if anyone, basically, to have more in common with him. You know, I think Anthony's style, like having someone like Roy Jones and looking up to Mike Tyson, those guys have their own styles due to their own body type. And Anthony Joshua has nothing to do with that body type because they fight totally different. If you were to fight like a smaller guy, you're giving up your advantages. Not saying you can't win, but you're giving up a lot of advantages to somebody that's shorter. Okay? And that's exactly what happened in the Andy Ruiz fight. And I hope he should realize that, simply because he was going at a smaller guy, not understanding that he's putting himself in harm's way of a shorter guy and his attacks. Okay? And that's how he got chinned in the first fight. And I think to avoid that, you know, he should pay more attention to guys like Lennox Lewis. What Lennox Lewis was able to do versus what Mike Tyson was able to do. And then examine yourself and ask yourself honestly, like, okay, what fighting style or which fighter do I have more in common with? I'm 6'6", 240 some odd pounds. Okay, with a reach, whatever. What does my body type specify based on my height and weight? Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson? Then the answer would be Lennox Lewis. But of course, with the history, we won't see that duo, unfortunately. And, you know, guys like Reynoso, again, has taken notice of how he reacted. And I believe, he didn't say that, but I believe the behavior that Anthony Joshua shown, you know, people didn't want to really work with that. You know, I think, you know, that turned a lot of people off. I could be wrong, but I think that as well. You know, the changing of the trainers and things like that. You go from one to another to another. You know, what makes you think he won't leave him if the result doesn't come out positive or he doesn't result in a win? You know, because you ask yourself this question. If Robert Garcia, and he won that decision, would he still be with Robert Garcia? And more than likely he would be. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Reynoso saying that he would refuse Anthony Joshua's services if he needed a trainer. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!